Thank you so much for coming on to our podcast. So I guess we'll start off. How has preseason been so far?
Yeah, preseason's been really good. I've really enjoyed it so far. We've had quite a few tough sessions. Obviously we had like one overnight camp, which was really brutal, like physically and mentally. But yeah, preseason's coming along really well. I'm really happy with how the team's traveling and how well we're gelling. So it's good.
That's so good. So with that 24-hour camp, what was it like? What was involved in that?
Yeah, so we did a 12 hours straight overnight camp. So we started at 6 p.m., finished at 6 a.m. in the morning.
Oh, wow.
We only got there was a 3 hour sleep block, but most of us only slept for like an hour or so. And then included going on the beach, like crawling on the beach, getting washed up by waves. There was one stage where we were like sorting out brown and white rice,
Oh my God.
and had to and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was playing on repeat during that 45 to an hour time. It was hectic. The
What?
second time the second time we did it, it started to rain, and then it was like heavy metal that started playing on the phone. It was just hectic.
Gosh. Why do you think they make you like go through that? What do you think the purpose is of that?
I think it is like partly to just see how you mentally hold up. Like
Yeah.
it was very like physically like muscular fatiguing, but also mentally like having Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer play on repeat, trying to make you crack in a
Yeah.
way. So yeah, it was very interesting.
Mm.
It was super like enjoyable and like something good to look back at now. But at the time, it was intense.
Yeah, I bet. I feel like I would not be able to get myself through that. I would crack in the first 5 minutes. So props to you guys. Um, is there any new faces that are really standing out to you or anyone that we should keep an eye on?
I think with the whole, we've got, I think, 18 new girls, that have come into the squad, and quite a few have, really stepped up their game from Harvey. So, Alexis playing with her at Bulldog when she came into the Harvey system, her now seeing her at NRLW levels, awesome. She'll be one definitely to watch. Who else is there? Ella Costa, she part of our system last year and then now coming into the NRLW squad this season. She'll be really good. She's very strong. Yeah, a lot of the girls quite a new team, so it'll be really good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Alexis is definitely one that I'm keeping at the forefront of my mind and excited to see for the new season. So I guess do the Dragons have a philosophy going into the 2023 season as a team? Do you guys have like a little mantra that you're going with, or is there something that Jamie keeps putting into your mind to just remember for throughout the season, or not really?
Not really. We just keep working together. We obviously know that we're raw, but we know that like we're gelling really well and how we're traveling, and we know we're prepared when it comes to season time. So we're just trying to really make sure we work together, and to put our best foot forward come season. It's only 3 weeks out now, I think, until season kicks off. So yeah, we're just trying to really focus on us and getting our combos right and working together.
That's awesome. I guess in terms of you as a player, is there anything that you're kind of working on coming into the new season?
Yeah, I think for me, I'm just trying to not put a lot of pressure on myself. Obviously, coming off of the season I had last year, I have a high expectation for myself on that, and that's just who I am as a person and an athlete. So yeah, I'm just trying to make sure that I don't put too much pressure on myself, and I just go out and enjoy my footy.
That's good. I mean, like in terms of the mental side of the game, I guess you're saying that you're hard on yourself. So do you feel like after a game, even if you won or even if you lost, do you come home and you watch the game back, or do you kind of just like move on from that and focus on the next week?
Yeah, I'm someone who likes to watch the game back after we've played. Like to see where some areas that I could have improved on a bit. And I know coming into this season, that's something I'm going to work on a bit more, is not having to rely on that a bit and just accepting that it's a new week coming forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a goal of mine.
Yeah, that's awesome. I guess you seem to like have real good leadership qualities, and is there any leadership roles that you've taken on board so far for the, I guess, pre-season or coming into the new season?
Nah, Sowie's just big on me just being who I am and going out in there and doing my role. I'm kind of someone who likes to show through actions more than words. I'm not very talkative at times. I'd rather just do and get it done that way. So yeah, I'm very grateful for Sowie who's allowed me to have that space and yeah, not put too much pressure on like me either.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so good to have. I guess in terms of leadership for the game, is there any leadership group that has been established yet, or is that something you guys are still working on?
We have a lot of like knowledge in Racine McGregor, obviously being Dally M medalist last year. She's won a few premierships with Broncos and with Roosters. So she'll take on our captaincy position, and that's something like Sowie wants to hold like high and hasn't really put in much of a leadership team around that. We have obviously Tyler Nathan Wong coming in too from Sevens, and she's got so much knowledge. She's still obviously learning league in itself, but yeah, just her calmness is insane. So she's coming in as like vice captain. So we've obviously got senior players like Roxy, Bobby Law won the premiership last year. So we've got those girls that are around there that we can lean on a bit more too. Renee Target's another one. So more we have those girls that we know we can go to if needed, but it's not so much a leadership group or any like title there around those girls.
Yeah, I know that you touched on earlier that you're wanting to focus on your own game and trying not to put too much pressure on yourself, and obviously you guys are working on how to enter the comp as a really strong team. I guess there has been a lot of changes at the Dragons with this season, and how do you think, or how do you handle so many key players leaving? Are you comfortable with what you're around? Of course, like, you guys have to learn how to gel again together, but obviously you've re-signed, and how do you think you're going to progress with these new team members that have come in?
I think it's the same with anything, like any other year and all the other teams that are going through it too. There's obviously been a lot of reshuffle, and I think going from Harveys to then come into NRLW helps a lot with that too, of adjustment to having new players around. Whether we lost the girls that we lost or we didn't, there's still always going to be change, new structures and stuff like that. So I'm really comfortable in the group that we have, and I know at the end of the day we're going to get the job done, and all my faith is in Sowie, and I know what he's like as a coach, and he's a big part of why I re-signed. So having him and putting my trust in him, I know like that's a good spot to be in.
That's awesome. Yeah, he's definitely, I feel like, putting his all into making this team a team that stands out in this competition, obviously. So obviously you decided to re-sign for another season. What was your mentality around that decision? And if you are allowed to say, did you get offers from other clubs?
Yeah, so obviously with my manager Excel, like John Fidel from Excel Sports, we have a plan in place for kind of where we want to travel with me and my footy career. And Sowie is a huge part of that. His development that he put me through last year, which allowed me to have the season I had. There was not really much of a second guess there. Like, I knew that was where I wanted to be, and that would be the next right step for my career and where I wanted to head. Yeah. I love being here in Sowie, being under him. It's incredible how passionate he is. Yeah. And I play footy out of passion. Like, that's why I do what I do and why I love playing it. Yeah, so the fact that we have that in common just helps heaps.
Yeah, I think he mentioned in his interview with me that he can be a little intense at times, and probably it can scare some girls off. But yeah, at the end of the day, he mentioned that he's got a lot of passion. Sometimes it just comes off wrong, but he's got good intention. So that's so good to hear that relationship with him, and making sure that he's a part of your process and staying in this in the Dragons team, I guess, in your NRLW career. So I guess I know that there's a lot of girls who have only signed on for 1 year. I think that was a big thing, you know. I'm not sure if you know, but when I did those contract length post, and a lot of people were like, oh my God, a lot of Dragons girls have only signed on for 1 year. So what do you think could make you guys stay on for a longer deal?
I think partly for me, it's like personally, it's what Sowy's going to do with his contract moving forward, because whether he re-signs and stay longer at the club or not, for me, like, he's a huge part of my development, and that's something that we've obviously, my manager's considered moving forward and stuff. I mainly leave it up to him, and he comes to me with what his plans are for me, and give it the go ahead or not, and ask the questions when I need to. So I think for a lot of girls, partly that, or because we have so many new girls that are coming through too, like, you want to know what it's like versus NRLW, and what the system can provide for you. And yeah, I think that's could be part of it, or not. Like, it's hard with all the CBA being delayed as well. I guess that kind of changed things up for a few girls potentially.
Yeah.
Each is different.
Yeah, I guess from a player's perspective, what were those CBA delays like?
It was stressful. Like, you're sitting here waiting around and like for a contract, and I kind of knew where I wanted. Like, we knew where I wanted to go at some stage towards that, but it was just hard sitting there and being like, at the end of the day, am I going to sign a contract? Like, I was still playing Harveys. I battled through an injury with that, and it was stressful because you're wondering, like, am I going to get injured in some way that's going to affect my contract, like poor Taylor Curtis went through. It was really stressful. Like, I was trying to sort out work, living arrangements and stuff like that, and I wasn't able to do that at the time because CBA was getting delayed. So yeah, it did make it hard for us. And I feel like for some girls, maybe that is a part of why their decisions changed.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, it definitely, I mean, I'm not even a player or in the organization of NRLW, but it was stressful for me trying to keep up with everything. So I could imagine that it was so difficult for you guys to just be like, what the heck is going on? So it's good that it's all sorted and that you're with the Dragons, obviously now. I guess you had a rapid rise from the HNWP to signing with the Dragons last year, and then going on to being one of the most consistent players at the club. Can you tell us how that all happened, and with you getting recruited into the NRLW?
Yeah, so I signed on with North Sydney Bears as part of my development. Long term, like, my manager and I had talked, and we were thinking NRLW in 2 to 3 years' time. So when it came to the semi-final and Sowie was there, and John called me over and said, I've got someone to introduce you to that wants to meet you. We were like kind of looking, because it was towards the back end of the season, we thought all spots were taken at that time through NRLW. So we were kind of looking for a development contract somewhere, just something to try and get me in if we could. And Sowie was there, and yeah, I met him, and he offered me the contract there on the spot, and it was the most insane experience ever because we just lost our semi-final, and I was so heartbroken from that. I still think back to it now, and it was just insane. And then to get offered that contract, there's actually a photo of me like standing chatting to Sowie when he offered it to me, and I've like got my hands in a fist trying to hold in my excitement because internally I was like screaming.
Yeah.
But externally, like John was saying, like, oh, just go there, like, be professional and just do you, be you. And I was trying to hold it all in. So that ride was just insane. There was obviously, it's only a short turnaround between when I got offered my contract to when training started. I think it was only 1-2 weeks. So that was pretty intense coming into NRLW system with the players that we had at Dragons, and just being here and with Sowie and how passionate he is, and yeah, how intense he can be from that sometimes.
Yeah.
But it was incredible. Like, I wouldn't change it for the world. And yeah, really grateful that I got to play a full season and have the year that I did. And I think Sowie and the girls here allowed me to have a space where, yeah, I could just enjoy my footy and be a prop and not have to think, and just go out there and do the work. And yeah, it paid off in the end, and that's a big part of why I am back here again.
Yeah. Would you say that that's probably your favorite moment from last year, or do you think that there's something else?
Nah, I reckon that tops it. Like that day was just, I went up to my best friends and my sisters were there after we lost the semi-final for the Bears, and I was just bawling my eyes out. And then after talking to Sowie and Snake and Nigel, I went to my best friends again, and I was just bawling my eyes out from happy tears. Like
Yeah.
it was insane. Like we ran back to the car from the front of Nostrada stadium. We ran back to the car like around the block, and we all just got in the car and just screamed. Like it'll sit on one of the best days.
Yeah.
Well, toughest days I'd say from losing semi to getting that, but yeah, for sure. Like the game against Broncos in Melbourne, that still sits up there in a highlight, but I don't think anything will top that first NRLW contract.
Yeah, for sure. I feel that completely. I feel like I would be the same. I mean, I'm obviously new to this space, and I guess I feel like the first time I saw Jamie Soward in real life, I was like, oh my God, that's him. Even though I've spoken to him, and even the players, like I've spoken to some of them on Instagram, and then when I see them in real life, I'm like, oh my God. So I know, like, obviously it doesn't compare to you getting a contract, but I couldn't imagine that excitement of just getting into that, NRLW space, and not when you imagined. So that's even better. Like, that's just so good. I guess, what are your personal goals for this season and long term?
Yeah, so this season, I really want to, build off of what I built last year and be consistent across the whole park. Try and keep my games like close together between potentially when you have a bad game to your good games. I think that's super important for me this year, and just enjoying my footy off the back of that will help. Long term, obviously like most of the girls that come into NRLW space, and I want to be wearing that jersey for Australia and representing my state as well. And when that time comes, I'll be grateful for it. I'm just enjoying the ride at the moment and seeing where it takes me. Yeah,
that's so good. I think you were touching on earlier, like your mental space for the game, and trying not to get into your head too much. Is there some sort of like protocol, I guess, that you guys go around with, I guess, social media and before the game, or reading comments and things, or is that not a big deal just yet?
I don't think it's too much of a big deal just yet. Obviously, for some, probably more than others. For me, I try and not look at posts or stuff like that, and try not to let that get to you a bit, because social media, as we know, can be quite consuming. You see screen time go up, and try and stay off my phone as much as possible. It just helps me keep a clear mind, and I think that plays a huge role in it. And just knowing that at the end of the day, you just got to back yourself.
Is there someone in your team that you're really looking forward to playing with, or learning from for this season?
I loved playing with Racine at Bears, and I'm super excited that she re-signed here at Dragons to come give it another crack. And I think it'll be awesome to have her back again. Just the way that she plays, and I know the confidence that I get off from playing alongside her, like, is massive. You can't beat having a half who's so direct and confident in her game. I think from the season she had last year, it'll build something very special here.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I guess in terms of a game day, what does a typical game day like for you?
Pretty chill. I just wake up, do a bit of mobility. I'll journal before a game, set my intentions. When it comes around, just roll into, depending on where we are, like get the body prepped and ready. And then before we head off, if it's on a bus or something like that, I'll sit and just meditate for a bit. Have a little superstition. I like to wear my mouth guard once I'm all dressed and ready to go.
Oh,
Yeah. It's a little uncomfortable for other people, like a few other players in the room, because they're like, oh, Tara, you just make us feel like it's time to go out there and play already. But it just helps me switch into that game mode, and try not to be so smiley and happy. When it's game time, got to zone in. And as a forward, you want to be a bit aggressive. So try and get into that zone. And that's pretty much a typical game day for me. Stay hydrated, eat well, and fuel the body.
Yeah, nice. I guess after, like, I know you were saying that you are critical of your performance and stuff. Is there, I guess you watch the game, is there anything that throughout the week that you're like, I don't know, I've got to, obviously you're going to take things away from your performance and focus on that, but I guess mentally, how after a bad game, I guess, how are you getting into your next game and being like, okay, let's just put that aside and keep going?
Yeah, I think focusing on the things that I did well in that game helps a lot. So yeah, we can focus on the negatives, but if we sit in that little pit, it's a bit hard to get out of it sometimes. So focusing on the stuff we did well and the key areas that I need to focus on for the week coming forward, going and chatting to the coaching staff like Soward or our other assistant coaches and seeing what they think could be some focuses for that week to get me through. But at the end of the day, it's an event that's happened and we need to leave it in that space a bit.
Yeah.
Got to learn from it at the same time, but yeah, not dwelling on it helps.
Yeah, nice. I guess with the record State of Origin crowd and obviously more eyes on the women's game, are you excited about potentially having a bigger crowd for the like NRLW season? And are you feeling nervous about that, or are you feeling excited?
I'm super excited for it. We got to play round one down here at Wynn before the men's game, and there was quite a fair bit of crowd when we first started playing. But at the end, it obviously started to fill in for the back end of the game, and that was just insane. Like having the supporters there and watching our game, especially like little young girls, that just fills my heart. Like that's why we do what we do, to try and build a pathway for them to grow up in and come through the systems, and seeing them out there and signing their jerseys after the game for them, or getting like a photo or high-fiving them. Yeah, it's all the good part of it all. Yeah, so I'm super excited to see what we can do audience-wise, and yeah, just hope everyone comes and supports our games.
That's awesome. I think that that's definitely a part of the reason why I'm doing watch as well, is like I don't know how much you know of my story, but like I grew up playing football, and then I didn't see like much for girls and more women in sport when I was growing up on social media. So I think it's a big part of why we're doing what we are doing now, is to provide that space and platform for younger girls to like be excited and just know that they can, you know, achieve their dreams, and it's actually a thing now. So it's so good that you've got that mindset as well. I guess this is going way quicker than I thought it would. So I got a little segment at the end. So we've got, it's called a 5 deep and 5 fast. So the
Yep.
5 deep will, you take your time, think about your questions, but the 5 fast, obviously just off your head, just quick. Okay. So for the 5 deep, the first question is there a player that you look up to in the NRLW?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't have one particular player. Like I like the style of the way that Caitlin Johnson plays. She's very aggressive and impactful in the way she plays. But then I love Millie Boyle's ethic and the meters and tackles that she gets through per game. They're two people that very like inspire me in that regard. And then Kezzy Apps and her leadership, like you can't go without that. It's a bit of everyone. And it's funny that I picked 3 props or like middles just then. So
Yeah. That's fine.
yeah.
We touched on obviously the younger girls. So what advice would you give to younger girls who hope to play for the NRLW one day?
I had a teacher, English teacher, when I was younger, who actually said something to me, and it's tattooed on my arm. Believe you can and you will, and it's something I live by. If you can believe that you're able to do something and set a goal, then you will at the end of the day. Like it's back yourself, and yeah, don't let anyone tell you that you can't, because if you can, you can.
That's awesome. I love that so much. I know that you were saying that you like got into NRLW quicker than you thought you would, but is there anything that you wish that you would have changed differently to get where you are today? Or do you think that pathways could have made your process easier?
The knowledge of the pathways probably, yes, would have made it a bit easier. I started later, so I started when I was old enough for Tasha Gale. That was when I first started tackle footy, and leaving that, I didn't really know what was next. And I went to someone in our Canberra system who's been an influential part of my journey, and he said there's a competition up here in Sydney, the Harveys, and that I could potentially, if I built and was a high standard player in our Canberra local comp, that I could potentially come up here to Harveys. And just that knowledge of knowing what the pathway is and what is out there for females, I think that's a huge part that I wish I could change about my journey. But I'm very grateful for the unique journey that I have had, and I think it's helped me along the way. Travelled for 2 years up from Canberra to Sydney, and that played a huge part in and affected my performance. And I think knowledge around that too, like sitting in a car for 3 hours and then training and then sitting back in a car and having to work 2 jobs on top of that, going to uni, like all that stuff really affects you as an athlete and the way that you're able to perform. And I think knowledge around that, would just make a huge difference in the journey that I had. But I'm super grateful for what it took to get where I am, and that's something I reflect on often, and look back to, and just a lot of gratitude towards it.
That's so good. I think you guys are part-time athletes, and you were saying about uni and stuff. I guess how hard, like this isn't even part of the 5 deep, but I guess having to juggle uni and your life and then being an athlete, do you feel like in your personal life it's tricky to not let down your work, or keep up with uni during your season and stuff? How do you kind of juggle all of that?
So I've actually sacrificed not going to uni. I stopped last year, deferred my degree, so I've put that on hold for now. And that's something that I made the decision to, so footy could become my priority. And work-wise, I've sacrificed a lot there. There was a stage, not the end of last year, the year before, just as we kind of got out of lockdown, I decided to quit my part-time job because it didn't allow me to put footy first. And I knew that in that stage, although it was scary, that's what I wanted to do. And it paid off in the end. Like, it helped me get to NRLW, and it's hard. Like, we're part-time athletes, and to give a high quality standard of footy, we need to be putting in the hours of full-time athletes, and finding that time between work, like girls who work full-time. I'm lucky now down here that I'm working part-time, and it allows me a bit of flexibility. And for girls that work full-time, I've been in that situation last year. I was traveling down from work from Sydney and then going back up and having to train and play on top of that. It takes its toll, even if it's not right then and there. Later on, it does. And even in your personal life, my friends, I have a really good friend group, and I'm very grateful for that. And they understand that footy is very tiring, and at times I can't be the best of friend, or I just need some time to recharge my batteries first. And people, I think that's overshadowed a little bit, being a female athlete, and probably not something that has so much light on it, and probably needs to. But it's hard, but we make it work because we want to play footy and we love playing footy, and we have the opportunity to do that. And
that's awesome. I think you're definitely right. Something that I think people aren't really aware of it, and you see all these people like, oh my gosh, I think that the women need more time and space, but obviously you can only give it so much. So it's so good that you're obviously trying and being really real with the people around you about how you're feeling mentally and what you can provide for them and not. I guess aside from footy, and I guess you touched on it before, but is there something else in your life that you're really trying to work on and improve? It could be like friends or anything.
I have 2 little nieces, and I love them to bits. They're to make them proud every day is a huge part of me. And for me, that means making sure that I'm doing the right things to fill up my cup. And it's something previously that probably haven't prioritized. I've probably let the cup go empty and feel drained. So yeah, making sure that I'm the best version of me off the field helps me on the field, but also helps me, be the best role model for my little nieces and my friends that are around me.
That's so good. I think that leads into my next question, I guess. Who's been behind you while you chase your dream?
My dad and my family definitely have. My dad is a big supporter of me. I have a really good friend, Kaylee, been best friends for a long time now. And her and her partner, her husband Jake, they're massive, big fans of mine in my circle, and they just know when I need a little bit extra push or a little bit extra support, or when I need the space, and building a good circle around you. I had have to count how many friends, four really good friends last year who traveled to all my games, drove down to Melbourne so that they could come watch us when we versed Broncos. They flew up to Brisbane when we played at Suncorp. They were just, it was an amazing experience to have them around. And obviously my manager, John, he's, backed me since I signed on with him. And he's a big reason why, I signed on, knowing him as a person. He just was exactly what I needed at the time, and what I still need now.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so good to hear that you've got such a support system, and that's mental. I mean, I can barely get friends over 20 minutes, and I live across the river, and they're like, no, you're too far. So it's so good that you've got that behind you. I guess we'll move on to our 5 fast, and then that'll be the end of it. But okay, so our 5 fast. Who's the most funniest teammate?
Tekka. Angelina Tekka. I'm not even gonna say her last name because I will butcher it.
Most smelliest teammate.
I don't know them that close enough to know that.
Okay, well, when I interview you after the season, we'll get back to that.
Yeah, we'll get back to that one.
Your fastest teammate.
Tegan Berry. They don't call her Flash for no reason.
Yeah, obviously. Your most strongest teammate.
Macy Carlisle. She is next level strong. Yeah.
Okay. And the most annoying teammate.
Cortez. Her laugh, man. She's it. You can just hear it from a mile away.
Oh my God. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, good insight. That's so good. Okay, well, I think that's it. I've got nothing else. You don't have anything that you want to get off your chest or anything? No, all good. No, so thank you so much for jumping on. I'm so good to talk to you, and obviously you're going to be the first player that I've had on the podcast, and it's really good to hear the players' perspectives. So it's something I hope I can do more. But thank you so much.
That's no worries at all. Thank you for all the work that you do. It's incredible, and I love seeing your posts, and you're a huge promoter of our game, and that's what we need, and all us athletes appreciate it so much. We really do.
That's so nice. Thank you so much. All right, well, I will see you in the season.
Yeah, see you in the season.
Bye.
Bye.